I would like to welcome you all to Minnesota Math and Science Academy's first ever high school graduation. Our graduation theme this year is the first. But the significance of that phrase goes far beyond simply being the first graduating class of MMSA. From being the firstborn child in the family to being the first to graduate from high school, many of our graduates are celebrating several successes on this night. And for that, we honor them. I am so grateful to have been given this very special opportunity to speak today, and I want you all to know that I do not take this moment for granted. I began working at MMSA 7 years ago when the school originally opened as an elementary school only. Since then, I have had the distinct privilege and honor of watching each and every one of these amazing students begin their journey here at MMSA. As you all know, some of our graduates started their journey here as early as 6th grade, while others began at the start of their high school experience. And as you also may know, we've shared many laughs together, many tears, successes, and failures throughout all the years that we've spent together. But no matter what obstacles they might have been faced with, they never gave up. They pushed, they fought, they studied, they typed, they Zoomed, and they read their way to this point, and they never gave up. Our former President Barack Obama is quoted as saying, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." So to the graduates, do not forget the lessons that you've learned, the knowledge that you've acquired, and the obstacles that you've overcome over these last 4 years. For these are the experiences that will not only prepare you for adulthood, but they will also empower you to be the change that you seek. So to the class of 2021, you have the power, you have the capability, the time is now, you are the change. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce our beloved high school math teacher, school board president, and department chair, Mrs. Jessica Cosgrove.
Thank you. I'm a lot shorter. Okay. Many of you probably know me as the 8th grade math teacher, right? I held that role at MMSA for 5 years, but this year I went into the high school, so I had the great opportunity to have these seniors again. I started as the 7th grade math teacher and then moved to 8th grade. I am the school board president, which is a role that I started at the beginning of this year, but I've been on the board for the past 3 years. I am the math department chair, so I hold a lot of different roles at the school, but I do feel like the most important one is being a teacher and an advisor to these wonderful students. I wish to welcome you all to our very first senior graduation and would like to take this opportunity to say just a few words about the students that are about to walk out here and the journey that we had together these last 6 years. My very first year at MMSA, I had many of these students as 7th graders. Our first year together, I was new, they were maybe new to the school, we had some challenges, and things didn't always go perfectly. When we moved up to 8th grade together, it went a little better. I could see their potential growing. I could see them becoming more comfortable in the school, and we became more comfortable with each other. As the 8th grade math teacher, I had to see them move on to high school without me, and it was kind of sad to see them go, but it was great to see them grow with each other throughout their high school journey. This year, as I mentioned, I moved up to high school, and I had the privilege of teaching these seniors again for maybe the 3rd time for some of them, and it's been a joy to work with them again. It's been a year like no other, but they really did step up to the challenge and will soon be walking across this stage as high school graduates. With that, it is with great pleasure that I welcome the graduating class of 2021. I would like to introduce the Executive Director of Minnesota Math and Science Academy, Mr. Murat Oguz.
Distinguished guests, parents, students, and most important of all, the graduating class whom we are here to honor today. I welcome you all to the first graduation ceremony of Minnesota Math and Science Academy. And thank you all for joining us today, celebrating the first graduating class and see them move on to a new chapter in their lives. I'll talk about their amazing success momentarily, but please allow me to share two short stories from my life that I believe have shaped my mindset as a school leader at MMSA. The first one, and I believe some of you may already know this about me, I lived in Nairobi, Kenya for 10 years, between 2001 2011. It was in my final year at college that I was planning to pursue my studies, master's, doctorate degree, to become a mathematics professor one day. However, a close friend of mine suggested that we give a break from our studies and take 2 years teaching in Africa. I was intrigued immediately, and with an immediate change of plans, I found a teaching job at a boarding high school in Kenya that had only about 90 students at the time. The facilities of the school were a little different, though, not quite what we are used to in the United States. It was a residential estate that was turned into a boarding school that had 12 units. 6 of them were used as classrooms, and 5 of them were dormitories, and 1 unit was used as an administrative building. I arrived at my new school during the enrollment period, and I was immediately asked to help with student recruitment. So my job was to give a tour in the building to the prospective families. Despite being new, when prospective families would come to the school building, I would give them a quick tour within 5 minutes. It was such a compact, small school anyways, but then I would take almost about 30 minutes just talking to the families about how great this school will become one day. And those who know me, you know I can talk at length if I'm passionate about it, and I was truly passionate about it. And regardless of what I was saying, the response that I would get at the end would usually be, "Okay, young man, we see your passion, we see your enthusiasm, we believe what you're going to say, but before we can entrust you with our kids, we have to see how successful you are truly." It wasn't an easy job to sell a school that has not produced any results yet at the time. But fast forward, by the end of 10 years, it took a lot of effort. We needed to earn the trust of our families first. But I can say that at the end of my 10th year in Kenya, I saw the school grow from its humble beginnings to a network of 5 schools with more than 1,500 students. And it was not just the school size that grew, but its academic results grew so much that the school was among the top 10 schools in Kenya at the time I left. And I kept following them on social media and seeing their continued success up to this date. That was an essential experience for me, seeing what could be achieved as long as we work together, as long as we set our minds to a goal. But I also understood that it took a lot of trust to make it happen. Now on to my second story before I talk to you about how they are related to MMSA. And I guess only very few amongst you might know this about me. In the spring of 2011, I was invited to join a delegation from Kenya to meet with Somali government officials in Mogadishu, Somalia, to discuss about the post-war education reforms. Yes, the war was still going on at the time, but the government forces were gaining strong foothold. So without really knowing what to expect, I boarded the plane. As our plane was descending to the Mogadishu airport, I looked out the window and saw the white sand beaches and the crystal clear blue waters. I could literally see the bottom of the ocean from inside the plane. Everything looked so beautiful from the sky. Then we landed. After clearing with the customs, we were met by some government officials and 2 trucks full of heavily armed soldiers who escorted us as we drove down the war-ridden streets of Mogadishu. Everything looked much different now. Streets were destroyed. Most buildings were damaged. It was the first time I was seeing the horror of war so close. We arrived at the presidential palace that was guarded by the African Union forces. We were placed in the guest house, and we could hear gunfire from a distance. In fact, there were bullet holes inside the guest house walls. After a brief stay and refreshment, we drove to the city, again escorted by soldiers, to see some of the city's landmark buildings that were damaged but not heavily destroyed. And I don't think I will ever forget my visit to the National Library of Somalia. The library was closed during the Civil War, and it became home to many women and kids who were displaced during the war. I still vividly remember the dire conditions the families were living inside that building. However, that is a story for another time. On the roof of the National Library, we had a 300 degrees vision of the city. I could clearly see the destruction at every corner in the city. It is in that moment I felt an ironic sense of tranquility. I looked at the city again and started seeing the once beautiful Mogadishu with its classical style buildings and busy, colorful streets. I was captivated by its beauty, as if it was a corner from paradise. It was the distant gunfire and the loud commands from the soldiers that were telling us to run back inside the building that brought me back to reality. After a day of visits and meetings, we flew back to Nairobi, but I can say that I carried with me memories that I would never forget and that changed my worldview forever. Less than a year later after my visit, a lot of things changed in my life, and I found myself in a charter school in Ohio first, then Minnesota next. Coming to MMSA and meeting all the students and families of East African descent felt like a reunion to me. There were 2 things that I had in my mind at the time. I was very much aware that the majority of our Somali families and their children arrived in the US after the Civil War broke out in the 1990s. They were here to have a second chance in life, pursue happiness for their families. The sonnet inscribed on the base of the Statue of Liberty reads, and please hear, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." And they were here to breathe free. With this in mind, I knew that one of my major tasks as a school leader was to create a welcoming and supportive school environment where everyone felt like they belonged, and teach our students the skills they need to grasp this amazing opportunity and succeed in life. And we as the educators were not allowed to make excuses. We needed to do everything in our capacity to unlock the full potential of our students on their way to pursue happiness. This wasn't just a job for me, it was a mission. We had a humble beginning at MMSA, similar to my humble beginning in Kenya, just with one difference. I knew this time that, for a fact, if we worked hard together, if we stayed true to our mission and values, we could achieve great success all together. And we needed to work together and do it collectively as a team. And today marks one of those accomplishments that we all dreamed about from the very beginning. 7 years after MMSA opened its doors, we are celebrating the amazing accomplishment of our first class of graduates, the class of 2021. Our first graduating class has now opened the doors for many others to pass through. So they are the pioneers. But I want to say that this day wouldn't have been possible without the amazing support we received from all our stakeholders. Parents, you gave your unconditional love and support to your students, and you believed in MMSA when there were no others. You took our word for it, and you believed in us. And that's how you paved the way for all others that will come after them. And that is an amazing support. There aren't enough words to express our gratitude for the trust that you put in us. And staff, your dedication, your caring attitude, your student-centered mindsets, and culturally responsive approach are what made the difference. Even the pandemic could not bring you down. You adapted and became innovative heroes. Administrators, your transformational leadership and your innovation and hard work, your focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion are what kept everyone together and inspired all to get all hands on deck, as it was the motto this year, I guess. The unrelenting support and insightful guidance of our community partners, and above all, our school board, also made us stronger. I thank you all for this support. And now, most important of all, dear graduates, you must feel so proud of yourselves for what you have accomplished so far, despite the obstacles you have faced along the way. Today is filled with mixed feelings, pride, and a sense of accomplishment for all that you have achieved, but a little bit of anxiety, apprehension maybe, as you stand on the brink of a new chapter of your lives, and excitement at the prospect of turning a new page, starting a new adventure, and taking your first steps to achieving potentially amazing things. Let this moment of success be a constant reminder to you that once you set your minds, you can achieve anything. I will ask you to believe in yourselves to the depths of your being. You have the ability, you have the skills, you have the education, and you have the opportunities. Believe always in the talents that you have nurtured over the years and continue to nurture them. You must continually strive to extend yourself even further, little by little every day, every week, every month, and every year. If you're able to do this, if you're able to believe, then you're free to grow beyond restraints that your mind may create. Take heart when progress seems slow, work hard and play straight, and the courage of your conviction will endure. Your goals will endure. Your determination will overcome obstacles in your way, and ultimately your success will become a reality, something tangible and achievable. Once again, I congratulate the class of 2021. You are the future that we will come to depend on. Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen West, and I am the proud principal of Minnesota Math and Science Academy. I have the honor of introducing all of our guest speakers tonight, but before I begin, I would be remiss in my duties as principal if I did not thank the graduation committee for their tireless efforts. I know I can be hard and stressful, but it turned out well. I would like to read each of the committee's members' names, and at the end, please join me in thanking them. My supreme thanks to Mrs. Blakey, Mrs. Cosgrove, Mrs. Weber, Mrs. Amata, Mr. Shazad, Mr. Goodroad, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Zhang, Mr. Abdi, Ms. Ripa, Ms. Shimshak, Ms. Potter, and Ms. Hassan. And if I forgot anybody, Ms. Serple. Ms. Serple. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. Again, it is with great pleasure for me to introduce all of our speakers today. Our first guest speaker is more famous for his athletic prowess as a member of the Minnesota Vikings. But when you take a deeper look into this man's vision, you find a humanitarian who is trying to find a way to close the literacy gap with our students here in Minnesota and around the nation. I'm honored to have him here tonight speaking to our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Stephen Weatherly.
With the 227th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Stephen Weatherly, linebacker from Vanderbilt.
On second down, fake to Williams, pressure, Rodgers sees it, gets rid of it.
Hello. Hey everyone. First, I want to say, well, I hope everyone's having a great night. But to the graduates, congratulations. Excited for you. I came with one quote and one skill that I think everyone here could learn from, especially our graduates as they take their next step to their journey. The quote is from the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I read that my second year at Vanderbilt, and I think it has helped form the way that I see goals and what I want to set forth for myself, right? And that quote is, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. All right. The skill that I think is really important that everyone should have, or at least start to grow, is the ability to adapt and adjust, right? And so the man you see up there, oh, snap. Sorry. The man that you saw up there, like I went through a lot to get to where I was. From Atlanta, Georgia, raised by a single mom. We didn't have a lot of money at all, and anything she had, she poured into me, right? And so seeing her having to work the job, she was a contractor too. So she would flip homes and renovate houses, and there would be times where she would leave way before I would even get up just to go put an order in at Home Depot, come drive me 45 minutes to school because we lived out of district so we could go to a good school so I could have a better chance for myself. And then she would go work all day. And I would go to football practice, and I would be the last one to get picked up because she was leaving the job site late. You know what I'm saying? So seeing her sacrifice, I just wanted to do right by her. So that was always my why. And I'm pretty sure every one of you has a reason why you want to be successful or be great. And if that why is strong enough, it's going to push you through any tough times, right? And if that why is really strong and you have a true vision for yourself, that's where this quote comes in. You'll start to notice that as you go on your journey, that certain things start to line up for you, and it'll push you, and it'll give you more energy to go and achieve those things, and just lean into that, and just know and trust that you're doing the thing that makes you happy, and so that's what's best for you. But in the off chance that it doesn't, and it gets kind of tough, and it will be tough, you need to have the ability to adapt and adjust, right? Every L is a learning lesson, right? Every opportunity you have, even if it's a win, you can also learn from it so you can stack wins, all right? Anytime anything doesn't go your way, you can always learn from it. One door closing is just another one opening. And I've always had that mindset about everything. Prime example, my first year in the NFL, I got cut, right? Like the team said, you are not good enough to help us win games. And in that moment, I had a decision to make. And I did not let that stop me. I re-signed to the practice squad, and 2 years later, I earned a spot on the team. Turned that into some really good plays, a few of them you saw here, and I signed an amazing deal with the Carolina Panthers last year. So much money, more money I could ever imagine. I think things were going great for me, but I got complacent. And so I didn't adapt and adjust and keep up with myself, and so I actually lost out on that. And now luckily, because I know that this is really important for me, the universe has actually brought me back to where I got my beginnings from. So now I re-signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Now I'm starting my second stint here with a brand new perspective, right? So I know this was important for me, and the universe kind of allowed it to happen. And I hope that no matter what you all set for yourselves, that it'll work out, and just keep going forward.
Our featured performer is someone we know and love at Minnesota Math and Science Academy. She has been here longer than just about any staff member at our school and has been a champion for your graduates throughout her time here. We are privileged to have her here tonight in this unique capacity, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want anyone else to perform but her. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming our very own Mrs. Monique Blakey and her pianist, Will Wesley.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time. No, there was something that meant something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets. Leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I wanna say I lived each day until I die. No, there was something that meant something that I left behind. And I leave this world will be the proof that I leave, that I made a difference, so this world will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I
you.
Our second guest speaker has created a brand as the Black Tech Guy, and he has dedicated his life to exposing black youth to the tech world. He has a remarkable vision of where the industry is headed and how our graduates could be a part of that evolution. He is an educator, and he continues to try to do his part in helping lead our students down a path of change. He is a product of St. Paul and truly has a fascinating story to tell. I'm happy to have him tonight. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Mondo Davidson.
When I started.
What's up, grads? What's up, grads? Okay, I was just making sure y'all was here. So before I get into this quick vibe, there's a couple things that just struck me. I was getting goosebumps sitting over there, right? One, y'all got to show up and show out and support the people that pour into you. And so those bars that was just dropped there on that mic, like, we got to give her some real love. Like, the second thing I'll say before I hop into this work is, like, wisdom is transferable. When you talk to people that are successful, all of them are going to say the same thing. When Mr. Weatherly got up here and said that Alchemist changed his life, what did I say? Me too. There's 3 books that changed my life. One was The 4 Agreements, one was Manifest Now, and the other was The Alchemist. And so if you continue to hear successful people say the same thing, it must be true. So with that, I'll tell you a quick story. So you guys are about to graduate. I remember back then. I remember growing up and literally every single adult would always ask me, what you want to be when you grow up? Who heard that before? Guess what? I would always say, I'm going to be in the NBA. Not the NFL, I'm going to be in the NBA. And then you know what they would always say? Oh, okay, but what's your plan B? That was my look every single time. And the reason is because when you follow that plan A, win, lose, or draw, you're going hard at something that you're passionate about, and you're always going to learn something. So here's some lessons that I'm going to drop, and then I'm going to act like I could drop the mic, and hopefully y'all feel like I dropped the mic. You have to identify 3 things in your life: your why, your cheat code, and your vehicle. I'm going to break them down real quick. Your why are you here? What's your purpose in this world? 2, your cheat code. What's the one thing that you do, that you have in you, that's more powerful, that's greater than anybody else around you? It's a gift that nobody can take from you. Example, she stood up to start singing. Somebody says, oh, she sings? It was a gift that she knew she had, and she stepped up there and killed it. Your vehicle, it's, once you identify your why and your cheat code, it's the car that you get in to take you wherever you want to go. I'll give you an example. Barack Obama. His why was to create change. His cheat code was his likability. People like that brother. Whether you believed in his politics or not, if he walked in with some swag, you're like, oh, he's cool. Like, I want to talk to him. Let's chop it up. The vehicle was politics. If you look at how that works, it's like, I want to change the world. People like me. So my vehicle is politics, because to get voted into office, people got to like you and they go check the box. Literally, that's all it is. What is it in you? Why are you here? What is your cheat code? And what is the vehicle you want to hop in to take it to the next level? For me, similar to the Alchemist, I feel like that's my story. The first time I read The Alchemist, I read it through the lens of the shepherd. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, nah, this book ain't for me. The second time I read it, which was 4 years later, I read it through the eyes of the alchemist. I was like, word, that's me. My purpose, the reason why I'm here, is to help other people turn the light on within them. That is my goal. I get more energy. If y'all leave here and you're like, I'm about to go take over the world, that's more enjoyable for me than me going to win. Because guess what? I already know I'm going to win. That's already written. I'm going to close with this. Similar to the quote that he dropped, I just remixed it for myself, right? He talked about the world conspiring with you. I just say it a different way. I say, if your conscious words match your subconscious beliefs, you can manifest anything. I'm gonna say that one more time. If the things that you say out loud consciously match your subconscious, what you actually believe within, it's already on its way. Hence why I'm like, I'm already gonna win. So, as you graduate tonight, your role, your responsibility, your obligation is to align your conscious with your subconscious. And if you do, game over.
All right. We're doing good with time. Thanks for all the people up there in the upper deck there. Thank you so much for helping us out. So, Stephen and Mondo, you guys are amazing, and you fired me up. Ms. Blakey, you sang well, but I have to tell you, I've been waiting for the senior speaker. As I listened to our senior speaker practice on Wednesday from the back row in the auditorium, I could not help but become real proud, and I was really emotional. Not only with the context of the speech, which was powerful, but also just watching the young lady standing proud in front of all these adults. She's a shy person by nature, well, at least around me. But her words spoke volumes of what was in her heart and what was in her mind. This is the type of authenticity that we are proud to see in our graduates. We want our graduates to be proud of who they are as they navigate a world that is confusing at times. I'm so happy she has taken this opportunity to share her words with you as she did with us on Wednesday. Please join me in welcoming our amazing senior speaker, Ms. Suwais Abdelkadir.
Thank you, Mr. West. It is my pleasure to welcome students, families, guests, friends, and faculty to the first ever graduating class of Minnesota Math and Science Academy. It's my honor today to represent this incredible student body. My name is Suwais Abdelkadir. When I was a freshman, I remember hearing from family and friends that high school would go by in a flash, and that our 4 years here would be one of the most memorable moments of our lives. Surprisingly enough, they were right. When I first started high school with my fellow graduates, we would get up every morning to get dressed and catch the bus to school. But some of us can't recall the last time we did in regards to COVID-19. For most of us, 10th grade was our last complete school year, which is why I think it's odd to reminisce about those days. It's an honor to say that we're the first group of MMSA students to graduate despite a global pandemic. So let's give a round of applause to the graduates of 2021. Throughout our learning experience, from the day we entered our school building to the beginning of COVID and now to the end of high school, we can all agree that the last 15 months have not been easy. I don't know about you guys, but one thing online learning has taught me is if you have your back turned away for just a minute, you'll have at least 30 overdue assignments, a few quizzes and an email from admin. It wasn't your standard classroom where the teacher would sit with you face to face. It was accompanied by inadequate relationships, a lack of social contact with peers, and an overpowering sense of exhaustion and frustration. Despite these challenges, there are some benefits, such as being able to do your classes in bed, grab a quick snack from the kitchen, or clean up your room while the teacher's voice played in the background. I'm grateful to be graduating with a class filled with the most hardworking, funny, and most honorable people I've ever known. Over the last 4 years, our class has made a lot of memories. Some of our favorite class experiences before the pandemic included a chance to celebrate Black History Month, where we learned about African American culture. Our class also got the chance to celebrate International Day, having the opportunity for students to perform dances, wear special dresses, clothing, and representing who they are and their heritage. As we all know, our country faces a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to people of color. It's your chance today, after you receive your diploma, to go and create positive change. And in the words of the late civil rights activist, John Lewis, get in good trouble. Some of you are heading to 4-year universities or 2-year colleges, but no matter where you're headed, you represent people of color and people of immigrant backgrounds. Learn to use your authentic selves. Never try to change who you are, and never try to fit in to make people comfortable. You and I will represent our families, the first graduating class of MMSA, our religion, our culture, and ourselves. I encourage all of us to better ourselves through education and set the standard high for those after us. Whether you go into the field of healthcare, engineering, social work, or online teaching, there will be days when you want to give up. But it's up to you to overcome any obstacles or challenges that will be put forth in front of you. I would like to express my gratitude to staff and faculty members who are present with us today. I want to express my gratitude to Principal West and Vice Principal Ms. Hassan for providing us with this wonderful chance to have our family and friends join us on this special day. Next, I'd like to express my gratitude to Ms. Serple, our high school counselor, who kept pushing us until she made sure every high school student walked across this stage. Lastly, I'd like to thank teachers, guests, family members, and friends for coming here with us tonight to celebrate our achievement. And I'd also like to thank my family and my friends. Some of the amazing individuals sitting here today are the first in their families to ever graduate high school. I'm proud of you all for this accomplishment. Not everyone has the opportunity to get an education and make something of themselves. This right here is a big deal for a lot of us, and knowing the sacrifices our parents had to make to get us to a country filled with many opportunities. Take advantage of it, because right now they would love to be in your shoes. With that being said, congratulations again to the class of 2021.
Nice. Very nice. All right. This class has been sitting here patiently. They're ready to get going, so I promise I won't take long. It's time. It's been a distinct privilege and an honor to serve as your principal. While I have a moment, I want to thank Mr. Auguste for giving me an opportunity to be the leader of this building. I honor you and I thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Auguste. To the senior class, we realize that this situation is not at all what you expected for your senior year, and yet you have handled it with a class and a determination. We appreciate all your hard work and dedication over the years, and in particular this last year. Our country is in the midst of the most significant time we have seen in decades, and through it all, this class has stayed the course by remaining resilient and unified. You are smart, you are compassionate, you are respectful, and you are honorable. As the very first graduating class of MMSA, you will go out into the world as a representative of all that you have been taught and all that you have become. You are a proud Mustang, and now you are an alumni of Minnesota Math and Science Academy. You are the first, but you will not be the last. In closing, I told you it was going to be quick. I would like to congratulate each of you again on your very important achievement. You should be very proud of yourself and your accomplishments. You are special. And as you enter the next phase of your life, remember to work hard. Take pride in who you are, what you do, and be guided by the morals and ethics that you have learned from your teachers, your parents, and your community. I wish you all the most fulfilling and successful of lives. You all deserve it. Now, Mr. Auguste, members of the school board, it gives me great pleasure to certify to you that all students receiving diplomas tonight have met all of the requirements for graduation as established by the state of Minnesota and Minnesota Math and Science Academy. I said I wasn't going to cry. I'm trying to hold it together right now. I now welcome our assistant principal, Ms. Hassan, to begin the presentation of the diplomas. Mr. Auguste?
All right, scholars, it is time. It is time. All right. Suez Abdul Qadir. Fatih Abdi. Nawal Abdi. There you go. Thank you, Nawal. Now, Ayan Abdullahi. Ismail Abakar. That's right, Ismail. Mukhtar Adam. Salma Adam. Mohammed Ali. Hafsa Mahmoud. Next is our salutatorian with a 4.21 GPA, Fatima Mahmoud. Abdullahi Muhammad. All right. Next is our valedictorian with a 4.23 GPA, Mariam Mohammed. Zainab Mohammed. Ahmed Mohammed. Ansal Mahmoud. Barleen Muhuddin. Nashma Sheikh.
All right, before we close out tonight to the senior class, I wanted to show you a plaque that's going to go up in our school for the first senior class at MMSA. This is something we're really proud of. Mr. Son, you want to go ahead and unveil it for me so I can? Yeah. So everybody's got their. Will all of our graduates please rise? It is a long-standing tradition that after receiving their diploma, the cap tassel is shifted from the right side to the left side of the cap. This signifies to all the completion of the diploma. Graduates, please shift your tassels. Ladies and gentlemen, families and friends, community, I present to you the very first graduating class of Minnesota Math and Science Academy 2021. That never gets old. Okay. It's time to celebrate. What we're going to do is up top, can we have some music while we exit out of here? I know this is something new. Just play some music for me while I have the seniors exit out. We're going to exit that way. And then family and friends, we're going to try to do this by rows so that nobody jumps on each other. So we'll do this by rows, okay? So hit the music. Congratulations, graduates, alumni of Minnesota Math and Science. Graduates, you may go. You can head on up. Let me hear some music up here. It's party time.